Hey everybody, welcome back to the Carryandcut YouTube channel. And if you're new here, I sure do appreciate you stopping by and watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, leave a comment down below. Also check out our Instagram at Carryandcut and our Patreon at Carryandcut. Really do appreciate all the support from the patrons out there. All the proceeds go directly back to the channel to buy new knives and new equipment to help make the quality and the content better for you guys. So today we've got the tools out again. We're going to be taking apart this Kansept Korvid XL as all the tools fall over. So if you guys missed the full review on this video, make sure you go check that out. Kansept did send this knife over for us to review, so just go ahead and get that out of the way. Well, this is not the review anymore. This is the assembly video, so sorry about that. But if you guys missed that, make sure you go check it out. This is definitely a pretty cool knife, and I'm really excited to get inside of this thing and see what is actually going on here. So, well, without further ado, let's go ahead and get right on started with this thing. We're going to be looking at T6 for the pocket clip, of course. And we got T8 for the body screws, and then T10 for the pivot. So that's definitely pretty exciting. Love to see that T8 in the body screws. Make sure you're careful with these pocket clip screws. See that one just kind of popped right there. Make sure you're putting adequate enough pressure so you're not stripping anything out. Our bolts, our screws appear to be the same exact size. So that's definitely going to be pretty important. So let's just go ahead and throw that thing right over there for now. Let's start with. Let's go ahead and start at the top side here. So we got T10 in the pivot, T8 on the body screws. I've been actually got this T9 driver from a local hardware store at home, and you know, I've been liking to use this thing more than my T8 for some reason. You know, a lot of them, some of the T8s don't fit. This thing's even still kind of sloppy, so it's kind of a mix-up of what you want to do. But I've been liking this T9. That one actually might be the captive side. Not a captive pivot? That's strange. Might have to get my other T10 out here. Got a T10 on a ratchet, actually. I was really hoping this was going to be a captive pivot, but we might not be so. It might be a captive pivot. We'll see here if it keeps. You know it gets serious when you have to pop out the ratchet to be able to pull your pivot apart. And it is definitely not captive, it is turning. So that is an arch nemesis of mine. It just makes it kind of inconvenient. I wish I'd have put that in the review. When you are taking these knives apart, that you got to actually... Damn, that thing is tight. Dang. There's no reason it should be that tight. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Sometimes you just you got to use your imagination a little bit. All right, there's definitely some Locktite in there, so that's good to see. Like that. All right, see if we can pop this pivot out of there. There it went. And that is going to be on the liner lock side of this one. So we're going to put our other screws up on this side, which is going to be the show side, if you will, the knife, the non-liner locking part. Dang, that is a snug fit. There's definitely no D-ring, no D-shape. There's no pivot notch, nothing like that. So we're going to put him over here. All right. So let's go ahead and keep plucking away at this thing. Let's use our T8. We're going to go ahead and get the T9 in that matter. Hopefully these aren't going to be, nope, there we go. These puppies are coming out no problem. Alright, so there's this first one. Let's go ahead and set our clip up here for now. There's one. There's definitely a good bit of hardware going on this knife. But it's a whole lot of knife to keep together too, so you can't forget that. These appear to be the same length, which is good to see. All right. Okay, now we're getting something going here. So we got multi-row bearings in there. That's pretty cool to see too, especially for the price point you're getting. There's our stop pin, internal stop pin. And then that's what we got going on there. We could probably just go ahead and leave this side together. Really no need to take it all the way apart, especially because this knife is almost brand new. There's minimal use. I just carried it a couple days to work here and there. but that is a honking liner. Let's go ahead and wipe any of that little residual crud that we had going on in there, which is not too much. Alright, let's go ahead and get a Q-tip going on here. Oh heck, let's say dipping in our alcohol here. Perfect. Go ahead and just wipe out this bearing. I call it erase. I'm not sure if that's the proper terminology for it or not, but I'm going to go ahead and wipe that part out. Wipe this one out too. Oh, there's definitely some crud in there, so that could kind of hinder your performance somewhat. And these bearings definitely were not lubed up either, so it's going to be nice to get a little bit of KPL on there. And of course, if you guys are interested in any of the tools that I have, they will be linked down in the description below. And it does help out the channel when you do use those links. Completely up to you. But they are fairly priced and they are pretty good quality. So, and that is one thing you always want to get in a, especially when you're taking your knives apart. You want to get good, somewhat good quality drivers. It does make all the difference in the world. All right. Because the last thing you want to happen is your knife strip out on you, and that is not going to be any fun putting back together. And the whole point of this is, you know, to have fun. That's exactly what you want to do. You want to have a good time taking your knives while you're doing it, taking apart your knives. So let's go ahead and throw our pivot back in there. And this thing is a snug fit. All right, just like so. We're going to go ahead and get our KPL out. We're going to put a little bit here on this initial bearing. I'm going to keep calling it the race just because I like to. All right, we're going to nestle down the bearing in there. Put a little more lube on it. And then we're going to go ahead and work right on over. Wipe that excess alcohol off there. It's kind of defeats the purpose of putting the oil on there. All right, so you can see where your stop pin rides on this actually a little bit like little channel here. It's kind of hard to display on camera. But this is how your liner lock works. When you depress your knife, that liner kind of just pops up, makes contact with the tang of the blade, and that forces the knife shut. And before I said we had about 50% of contact, and we actually feel like we got a little bit more than 50%. It's definitely a pretty solid lockup on that knife, if you can see it. Solid lockup on the blade. So that's definitely nice. Love it. Alright, let's go ahead and put a little bit more on here. Of course, got our detent ball. Want to hit that with a little bit of lube too. While we're in here, we might as well. Alright. A little more KPL. Keep everything nice and lubed up. Alright. So now you can kind of see where that internal stop pin, what's going on right there. When you're disengaging the knife, you can see it riding in that channel right there. That's pretty cool representation of what's actually happening. There we go. Alright, now we're on the home stretch. We can almost put this thing back together. And we do have lanyard attachment points. That's going to be good for Steven. Didn't even point that out before. So we're going to get our Locktite out now. Let's go ahead and throw a little dab on there. This is definitely important stuff. Love using the Locktite. And I forgot to mention when I did the review of this knife that it is only one-sided pocket clip, so it's righty biased. That's kind of unfortunate. Because Mr. Lanyard himself, Stephen Weigel, he is a lefty. Poor guy. That's a little too much. Don't want to go overboard with this stuff. It's not a crazy, you know, locking. It's just kind of a mild Locktite retainer, I guess you could say. It is Locktite, but so we're just going for initial tighten down. We're not doing anything too crazy. Once we get this thing put back together, we'll do a full tighten. Make sure everything's jiving well with each other. And this pivot was crazy tight before, so I don't need to get too carried away with that. Now I got our darn, there we go. Alright. This step you could use like a little wire brush and try to clean off some of that old Locktite on there, but for the sake of this video, I don't think we need to get that in depth with it and that crazy about it. So we get our T10 back out and run this pivot in initially. Alright. That thing is pretty much a guillotine right now. So let's go see what we got. We're off center. Let's see if we can tighten this pivot up and it brings that blade back in. And it actually didn't even spin that side. Oh, that helped it tremendously. Look at the action on this now. And just a fall shut. And this thing's still breaking in too. I might as well add. But that is how you disassemble and maintain your Kansept Korvid XL. But let's go ahead and put these this pot clip back on to really seal the deal home. Alright, swipe a little bit of goo on there. Nobody likes their pocket clips falling off, especially me. It's happened a time or two. But you live and you learn. Where'd the old trusty T6 go? There it is. Always like to do one reverse turn, I guess, to the loosen, set your threads. Then hammer it on home. And of course, with our Locktite on there, you're not going to get too carried away. And we do a final snug down of all of our hardware here with our T9, of course, T8, T9, whatever you got. I recommend looking into a T9, but that is my personal preference. Some nice do, some nice do without. Okay, and that is how you do it. Fully assembled. All the action increased way more there. I don't know if it was putting the lube in the pivot or actually just loosening the pivot somewhat too. That definitely could have helped it some. But yeah, works good now. And this thing is a honk. So make sure you go check out the full review. Really do appreciate it, guys. And until next time, thanks.